Nah, he's not seeing me. I'll get him later. Dan! Fine. Oh.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Finally doing a video. This one will be for Dan. You were right, I'm gonna be making this video all the way till midnight. So hopefully I get it done so you can see the sun is setting. So I'm gonna try to rapid fire sonic speed these records in. I'll see you in a bit. Hey YouTube universe, I'm gonna try to do this sonic super speed 100 questions for Dan. Number 1, a Todd Rundgren involvement. Patti Smith group, The Wave, produced by Todd Rundgren. A title with fewer than 5 letters. Diva. A record from high school I still own. Jimi Hendrix smash hits. A record I was supposed to like but I don't. Surrealistic Pillow. A record you were not supposed to like but do. Alice Cooper, Killer. A Third Degree Kevin Bacon album. Kevin Bacon was in this X-Men movie, First Class. Soundtrack. First soundtrack I owned. I think this is the first soundtrack I owned on vinyl. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Great album. A good $5 album everyone should own. Sounds of Silence. A record that defines you 25 years ago. Pennywise, Straight Ahead. A record that rhymes with orange. How about the Orange Symphonette, the Orange album? A hard to find record by a popular artist. Midnight Band. The most common record in my collection. Abbey Road. 2 records from Farthest. The 2 farthest records not in common in their collection. Pseudo Echo and Father Pat, Love One Another. A record that makes you want to puke. This cover by Foreigner. It's pretty sickening to me. A record that's a horrible pressing. The Velvet Underground. A very nice sounding record. I'm really surprised at how great this record sounds. Best Inner Sleeve. Prize goes to Lady Coriel. There she is in all her glory. And here is the beautiful inner sleeve. This beautiful designed apostolic vanguard. A cover you can't stand, but a record you love. Under the Blanket, Pisano Rough. A record too long, but has some good songs. Quadrophenia actually has one good song for me. Record that makes you want to cry is Mumia 911. You're familiar with Mumia. He's been imprisoned, wrongly convicted, and he's still behind bars, suffering. He's written many books and various documentaries released on him. My workout record. I used to run LA all over town and bike LA over town, so I would have this on my headphones. Anything by Pennywise just gets me pumped up. Number 22. I own this record because someone said I should. And here's Quicksilver Messenger Service. A record that sounds totally different than I thought. Is this independent record by The Sads. It's a silent performance. They performed this album to a crowd, about 100 people. And they were all wearing headsets. An overrated album, The Beatles, Rubber Soul. An underrated album, The OJ's Message in the Music. A record I have no idea why I own and have not listened to is Candy. And there she is. I think I bought this record because it was probably owned by a blind person. It has a braille here. I think that's why I ended up picking that one up. A record that makes me levitate. Anything by Kitaro, especially Silk Road. There he is in his happy meditations. Record that looks cool in all his glory, Black Panther. An instructional record. And The Cigarette Habit through Self-Hypnosis. This is my newest Folkways find. Wish I had this record 20 years ago. A Record That Heals, For Every Curse by Daniel Vashta. He's written many worship songs that have empowered, brought me hope. A record with bad graphic design. This is a great album, but this cover is so not so good. A record that's changed over time with you. This used to be one of my favorite records, if not the favorite record of all time. I've changed my opinion since last year. Okay, number 33, Kurt Cobain, Ruined It All, 80s Fun. Here's an 80s, great 80s record, Yazoo, Upstairs at Eric's. I also have the other version, I think it might be the UK version. It's titled Jazz. A record that has made me high is Heifetz Plain, Brahms Violin Concerto. A maddening record is this record by Victor Jara, Levántate y mira la montaña. This is, there's a cool documentary on Netflix if you're not familiar with Victor Jara. A scary record would be Legion. I don't know if any of you guys haven't seen the series. It was more of a horror show than anything else. A short record. Here's a record from my son that I got for his birthday last year. The official theme song for Paw Patrol. 4 tracks. It's about a 7-minute record. A mixed race record. Here's a hip-hop group from Los Angeles called Visionaries. Within the group, we have Filipino, Black, Hispanic, and white members in the group. The most eclectic record. It's a series of records by Dr. Joseph Murphy. This one is called Meditations. It has the healing power of love, mastery of fear, prayer is the key, sleep soundly. Pretty interesting record. This is on the Angelus label, which here's the Angelus label. If you're familiar with the group Fraction, they were on the Angelus label, Los Angeles. A jazz album that no one knows that slays. Here's an album by Father Tom Bond at the Village Gate. This record includes Elvin Jones on drums. Awesome record. Very white record. 90s, Portishead, 97 release. A record, a concert, and memorabilia. Here's Atmospheres, Fish and Blues. We went to go see them on this tour, and my wife at the concert got me these Scott Loves Ugly socks. A record that flopped, Fleetwood Mac's Tusk. An independent record, best find from last year, Brothers, His Kind of Man. Independent garage rock Christian record. Also classic, Wake Up Everybody. The 50s, this record from 1959, Heifetz on the Violin Concerto. Number 57, Glam Me record, Kiss, Asylum. A Pitbull worldwide album, Paul Winter's Earth Math. Smoke on the Water, a played out record. The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper. A Sinatra record, This Is Sinatra. Las Breeders Invasion, Animalism. Get Kinky, The Kinks' Greatest. Lady Rockers, a phenomenal album. Mother's Pride by Fanny. And here are the beautiful ladies. A Record Risk, They Changed Direction. Interpol's El Pintor. This was the first album they went into the studio with without the original bassist. Progressive symphonic album. Anything by Studio Ghibli. Electronic Dreams. Beautiful album by Tomita. Pictures of Exhibition. The Beatles and Why. Here is The Beatles Love Songs. Picked up about 4 years ago when my son was maybe about 8 months on a trip to San Diego. Picked this up at a thrift store for $1. Rockabilly Meltdown. How about the Queen of Rockabilly, Wanda Jackson? Here's a heavy record. Heavy Wax, The Sermon by Jimmy Smith. Found this at a thrift store. Beat up with no cover, but the wax is very heavy. Greatest Splatter vinyl record. It's DJ Ability's new record. Here's the Splatter vinyl. The Phoenix custom labels. Number 71, you got Ripped Off record. This Bouncing Souls from a few years back. I want my bunny back. A musty record you can't throw out. Promo copy of Jazz Mass by Joe Masters. A Bad Production album. The One Way Singers, Moment of Truth, independent release. Doesn't sound great. Speak and Tell, Walt Whitman, and Other Poems, read by Ed Bigley. How do they do that? Record with an amazing playing. Weather Report, I Sing the Body Electric. I think this is a Japanese live album, or a live album recorded in Japan. I don't get it record. I still don't get this album. Free Jazz Me, Carpathos. Classic album that doesn't get enough play. Milt Jackson's Sunflower, which West Side Connection sampled. One band album. Blind Faith. A Tragic Story album. Keith Green, Songs of the Shepherd. This was the last album he recorded before he passed away in a plane crash with Josiah and Bethany. Tragic loss. He was only 28. I'm Sorry album. This is my wife's favorite classical piece. She loves it. I don't think it's the greatest piece ever. People Are Wrong album. Tell Us the Critics Blew It. Philip Glass with his release Glassworks. He lost a lot of people who were backing him up, a lot of funding, a lot of grants when he released this record. The go-to of all go-to albums, Dark Side of the Moon. They ripped off another band album, Jaws. John Williams ripped off the theme from a Stravinsky piece. A memory record. This is Santana's Greatest Hits. A lot of memories from this from my childhood. Oye Como Vas, the main one. Condition is Crap, but who cares? Richie Balance. Disco Delight. Bee Gees' Greatest. The Heaviest and the Hardest. Kill Switch Engage, The End of Heartache. I Blush album, Erotic City. This picture disc by Linda. Iconic and influential album, DJ Shadows introducing. Kid Smart album that did something else in life, like an invention. Pat Metheny, he has also invented this musical machine. A Workman-like album, Fraction, Moonblood. These guys were regular class working Joes. Recorded this awesome album in one take. I'm Clever, Best Lyrics. I think Dustin Kensrue from Thrice is probably one of the best lyricists out there. Harmonies, The Mamas and the Papas. Tries Too Hard album. Here is Glenn Gould, the Gold Glitter, the Goldberg variations. He tried so hard. He wanted the record to sound a specific sound, and he tried too hard to get the sound he wanted. The stand-up album, Grit but One Killer Performance, Fragile. Brand New Waves, a courageous album. Cinema Ray, How Much to Africa. Color Me Gone. Finished the contract and mailed it in. The Islands, the band. The Fastest Fly and Die or Sellout album. Siamese Dream. Time to Die. Dead during or just after recording. Gangstar Guru passed away 10 years, I believe, before this album came out. The last record I would sell in my collection would be Fire of God's Love by Sister Irene O'Connor. Here's the beautiful ladies on the back. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope everyone is well. Be in peace with yourself. Be in peace with everyone around you. God bless you, and I guess I'll see you on the next one.